Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. By the end of this video, you are going to know how to paint a two-dimensional Bratz. But don't get discouraged if it doesn't come out perfect. It definitely takes a lot of practice, but showing you step-by-step how to do it is definitely going to help you out. All right, so let's get right into this. The base color I'm using is Dreamy. I always like to start with the neutral tone background when I'm doing any character that requires skin tones. Everything, as always, I'm using is from my shop, Nailzbydev.com. I'll link everything in the description below. I'm using the 9mm Dream Liner brush, and we're starting with the eyes. The product I'm using to outline the eyes is white liner gel. By the way, don't forget to cure in between each color. Now we're gonna go in with Baddest Black, and we're gonna start adding the first detail inside of the eyes. Following inside, we're gonna use the Chocolate Factory collection. So I'm gonna first start with Milky Way, and then I'm using Creme Brulee, and filling that inside with Baddest Black. We're gonna add a little shadow right here using a blue jelly polish, and a tiny little white dot for the little glare on her eyes. Now finding the center point of the eyes, we're gonna just place a dot right here. This is gonna signify a little guideline for where we're going to build the lips out from. Directly down from the inner part of the black eye right here, let's place a little dot. All right, now we can just start kind of drawing out the other side of the lip. That's just going to show how wide the mouth should be. I'm using the red Oops, I Did It Again liner gel to paint her lips, and we're going to fill all this in right here. Now we need to mark out where her little teeth are going to be. So let's draw this little triangle space, and we're going to fill that in with white later. Now you're gonna see that I'm gonna draw out this little bottom lip and go ahead and color that in. Now I took that same red liner gel and I mixed triple fudge into it to create this nice warm like lip liner color. Now my secret weapon for blending is this Slim Shady blender brush. It is so good for blending and shading small areas. I'm using nothing on my brush. I'm just doing this while the liner gel hasn't cured yet. Now we can go ahead and fill in that little space for the teeth and just kind of separate the upper lip and add some shading right here. The main thing you want to look for in a blender brush is that it stays to a nice point like this one does. This is going to help you get the perfect blend and get in the tiniest little spaces without having to worry about the brush spreading into an area that you don't want. You'll also notice that I switched to a smaller liner brush. 5mm Dream liner brush is so good for two-dimensional characters. Now using one of the chocolate liner gels in the shade Creme Brulee, we're gonna go ahead and start drawing out her face. Right now, I'm just gonna start a little bit under the lip, and this is gonna be her chin area. Directly across, let's go ahead and attach it. Now, I'm going to try my best to kind of measure out where this hat's gonna lay on her head. Later on, I might have to add a little bit of height. Now we can go ahead and fill in her whole face with this color. These liner gels are so buttery and smooth and so good for blending. You guys are gonna see in a minute. Taking my Baddest Black liner gel, we're gonna get the first initial outline of the top of her eye. Make sure you keep it nice and thin to the inner corners. Again, I'm using Baddest Black liner gel. You guys, the best liner gel I've ever used is this one. Now using a light pink and a darker pink, I'm actually using Spice Girl liner gel. We're gonna go ahead and add her eyeshadow, and just while it's wet, blend that out. And after that is laid down, this is how your brat should be looking right now. If it's not perfect, don't stress it. Now I grabbed my liner gel grape soda, and I'm just gonna add a little crease right here above her eyeshadow, and then I took a purple jelly on top of that and added some eyeshadow. For the eyebrows, I'm gonna use caramel, lay it down, and then using our blender brush dry, we're just gonna blend that out. Then we're gonna go back in with black liner gel after we cure it and add a little bit more of an ombre. Now, just as I suspected, we're gonna add a little bit more height to the forehead because we need to make more room for another eyebrow so the hat can lay on the head correctly. I feel like I'm really doing makeup here. This is literally like doing makeup just on a nail. For the shadow right here, I took the liner gel milkshake and mixed a little bit of black into it, and I just started blending it out. We're gonna grab the liner gel buttercream and go ahead and start blending that out to add some highlight on the forehead right here. The other good thing about using a short liner brush like this is that you can actually use it as a blender too once you get more used to it. We're also gonna add a little highlight right here, and this part is important because it's gonna help bring the nose to life. Now pay attention to the colors that I used for this. Taking that same color that you used for the skin tone, mix a tiny little bit of Milky Way liner gel into that to create a shade that is slightly darker than the face. After you've laid that down, go ahead and grab some white liner gel and lay it on the tip of the nose. Then by doing some light tapping motions, we can blur that out. Now we need to create some blush kind of color. We need to give this color of her skin a little bit more life. To do this, I just used the same color we did for the skin tone and mixed a little tiny bit of red liner gel into it. And just blend like you're literally doing your makeup. And for the shadows at the bottom of her chin, I started with Milkshake, added a little tiny bit of brown into that, and then just blended it up. Now we're gonna begin by drawing out her neck area using that same shade that we used for the face. Now, for a lot of the shading on the body, I actually used the color Double Dip and mixed it into our skin tone mixture here. I believe I also added some red into it as well. The face needed to be a little bit more separated from the neck, so I just went in with various like shading, using darker browns, and eventually it just all came together. For her top, I decided to use Naughty Santa. It's our red glittery reflective gel polish. I then went ahead and mixed a little bit of triple fudge into that red to create a little darker red color for some shading on her outfit. Now let's get into this hair, okay? So I just took a lighter shade. I believe I used just like a white mixed with a little bit of buttercream. And then I started going in with various shades of liner gels. I think I used Milkshake. And then for the highlights, to add dimension, you want to use some white in there. Then you want to add some contrast, going in with a darker liner gel. Now you can choose whatever color you want for this part. Now let's bring these eyes to life, baby. We're going to go back in with our Baddest Black, give her 3 little lashes on the bottom, and then 2 long big ones on the top. We're gonna grab some purple jelly that we used earlier and just add a little bit of eyeliner on the bottom. Now, doing this hat was the least favorite part of the whole nail. We're just going to use Oops, I Did It Again mixed with a little bit of white for the hat color. And we can start by mixing black into Oops, I Did It Again to create this nice shading color. Honestly, when I started doing this hat, I was like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into? I just started adding shading in random places. Kind of just try to replicate what you see here. Then for the stitching, I went ahead and mixed white into Oops, I Did It Again, and literally it just already looks like stitches. After I laid down all the stitches with this color, I went ahead and used that black and red mixture we did for the shading and put it directly behind the little stitches to make it look like they were popping up. I think I mixed brown with clear top coat just to add a little bit of shading to separate the hat from the face. And we gotta make this look like some leather, so let's drop little splotches of white liner gel to make it kind of look shiny. And with your blender brush, don't forget to kind of blur it out to just make it look more realistic. We also have to add some highlight on the lips. What would the BRATZ be without highlights on the lips? And of course, we have to add highlight on the body and the cheek area as well. For that, I literally just used white liner gel and it just blended in so perfectly. Using that shade Creme Brulee, we're gonna add some little highlight situations right here above the eye and another bright white highlight over here on the arm to make her look plastic. Let's make that nose pop even more by adding a tiny little bit of white without blurring it. Now we're gonna add some tiny little brown freckles. You don't want these to be too noticeable because you want it to look really realistic. Finally, to top her off, I decided to add this cute little silver necklace because the one in the picture honestly was just not giving. This is the molten metal gel paint from my store as well, the Sissi gel. And after the shiny top coat, you guys, look at how cute she came out. If you guys painted this, give yourself a pat on the back. And just remember that every single time that you practice, you'll only get better and better. If you're feeling discouraged and feeling like you're never gonna be able to do this, I promise that's not true. You just have to put in the work and definitely stay consistent with your art. Just know that I got you, and that's what I make these videos for. So I encourage all of you guys to keep going. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to show you what we have in store for February. The Valentine's collection is literally everything. You guys are gonna love it. Don't forget to subscribe, like my channel, and definitely hit that notification bell so you don't ever miss a video. Until next time, bye guys.